Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for the gold price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis. A quick reminder for the gold, what we might expect for this new week, of course, for tomorrow Monday or tonight midnight when the market opens. So we have basically here a potential triangle A, B, C, D, E, of course, finished wave W or wave A here in case we are in an A, B and a C. And we are looking here potentially, of course, for this triangle finished, and probably you might be here in a zigzag at the 1-to-1 fib level where you might finish, of course, an A, B, and a C. And then after this, it might be, of course, your wave A finished here, your wave B finished as well, and you might seek after a wave C downward inside this blue box before we move very massively, of course, towards the 4K for the gold here. And that because, of course, the 3000 is a necessity to get it, of course, before we move towards the 4K, based, of course, on the count here that we have for this impulse, where we are looking at a very clear wave 1-2 here. We have a 1-2-3, where inside it, of course, you have your impulse 1-2-3-4-5. You have 4 and a 5, finished wave 3 over there. And currently, we are looking here at our wave 4, which is of course an alternative for this wave 2. Now the timing for the wave 2 here did not reach even yet the 1-to-1 fib time based of course on this wave 2. This wave 4 still need a little bit time, I would say, most commonly to reach the equal time for wave 2. And plus, we did not reach the 0.23 taken from the wave 2 to the top here. We still see the gold ranging sideways without reaching this 0.23, which is a minimum requirement. And we still see, of course, for higher. And because we finished a triangle here, it is a structure. And this structure, of course, that you have finished, it can be only a wave 4, which is very shallow in wave, very shallow in regarding, of course, the wave 2 here. Did not reach the 0.23, and even the 0.618 barely touched in fib time, which is very, very low possibility, guys, to move for a wave 5 right now. Unless, of course, we are in an A, B, and a C. Can be an expanding flat, even wave B, taking new highs, and then moving down, of course, for wave C. It can be a W, X, and a Y as well. Of course, with a wave X can be something as a flat or a zigzag. But I'm still looking basically for lower. Now, what is the difference between W, X, and a Y and A, B, C? The wave C is impulsive, 5 waves, while the wave Y can be double impulses in zigzag, for example. So these are the only difference that we might have here. Now, basically, in case that the things are going very, very bullish for the gold and that we will not take the minimum requirements fib level and fib time, which is not really nice to see because normally it's uncommon to have, which is out of nature, I would say. So basically, we might be in something very, very bullish, which it can be, of course, a 1-2 here, and a wave 3, 4, and a 5, which it can open, of course, towards the 5K, 4K, sorry, potentially. But before calling this, of course, as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, we don't forget that you might get, of course, even after breaking the 1-to-1 fib level first, as a first signal, of course, that we are very bullish. We need to break the 1-to-1 fib level, 3,450 taken from the A to the B to the C here. And to check, of course, that if we are not in a wave C, and then, of course, if in case we break it, therefore, okay, we might open with several 1-2s here. I'm going to explain it on the 15-minute chart. So the several 1-2s start from here. Of course, you have a very normal wave 1 here or a wave A as an impulse, very normal correction, and we start to see another impulse as a 1-2. Now after this, we start to see kind of like a leading diagonal here. So this diagonal, I'm going to consider definitely, of course, a single leading diagonal as a wave 1, because if I consider this as several 1-2s, it never ends up and it becomes very low possibility. Therefore, preferably that this is a 1-2 and another 1-2 in leading diagonal and a 1-2, and currently you're unfolding your wave 3. So you have triple 1-2s here, which is very normal. still acceptable. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 for your major wave 3 here, that it might ends up, of course, with this wide scenario. After this, you might see, of course, a wave 4 and a 5, 4 and a 5 continuation toward the upside to finish, of course, a potential wave 3, which is around the 1.618, or you might have finished here a wave C, which it might be very extended, and with it you can finish here a wave X or a wave B as an expanding flat. And we don't forget that in this area, because we might be in an expanding flat, for example, wave B expanding flat should not, of course, should of course break above the 1.38, meaning we cannot be very bullish here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. We cannot be very bullish toward the upside unless, of course, we break the 1.38 here, because it still can be an ABC here extended wave C and then dropping down massively for a wave C in a big A, B, and a C, right? So we gotta be careful with this one. It might be very tricky for the gold, especially after a lot of movement towards the upside, a lot of consolidation, a lot of greed appears here in this pattern right now without reaching the fib level, the fib time, moving for higher. It is simply greed, a lot of greed, guys, so be careful. I'm warning with this because a lot of greed might turn into suddenly to a lot of fear. Yeah, so, and it might bring with it, of course, a very aggressive move downward. So we gotta be careful. We have to watch first the 1-to-1 fib level. If broken, okay, we open the scenario for these several 1-2s, and if we keep climbing upward, our fib levels here 1.05, I would say, in confluence with the 1.618 is a very critical area. So we gotta be careful. That is a very I would say critical zone here that we have to watch, okay, because it is very tricky here. Okay, so it is 1.618, which is an extended wave C, and 1.05, which is a perfect wave B for an expanding flat. And if this opens, of course, an aggressive wave C downward, that is a horrible scenario for the gold, of course. So we gotta be careful with this one. Yep, so that was it for the gold. We're gonna watch what's gonna happen on Monday. Currently, I'm still looking, of course, internally for a 3, 4, and a 5, and to see, of course, how this might end up. So if we are going to end up a smaller wave C, preferably, I would say, preferably if we end up here like a 1, 2, well, if you want to count this as a wave 3, 4, and a 5 somehow, you want to finish this as kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, somehow like this, and we finish there and we drop down. Yeah, in case we want to finish an ABC smaller zigzag here, and we might drop, of course, down after they finished wave X here, okay, and a wave C with it, and then drop down for a the 3K here, which it might be, of course, an A, B, and a C, or W, X, and a Y. That was it for the gold. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments. See you in the next one. Bye bye.